Mr. Cooley, you have 3 bills on suspense, AB 266, 423, and 870. What's your pleasure?
Waiving presentation on 423 and 870, presenting on 266.
Thank you so much. Please continue.
Very good. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members. Today I'm presenting AB 266, my bill related to medical marijuana business standards. And this is a follow-on to the 1996 approval by California voters of the Compassionate Use Act, Proposition 215, allowing patients and primary caregivers to obtain and use medical marijuana as recommended by a physician. That ballot proposition contemplated that the legislature would come in and establish rules and standards to sort of put a framework around the exercise of that newly accorded right through Prop 215. But over the span of years, we have actually had very few comprehensive pieces of legislation to create some standards for medical marijuana. So AB 266 will do that. This bill is supported by the League of California Cities, by NORML, the National Organization for the Reform of the Marijuana Laws, by California Police Chiefs Association. It will cover the entire field from cultivation to dispensaries so that patients have safe access to this product and communities are able to have basic standards around the industry. It is respectful of Supreme Court precedents in the Riverside decision, protecting the powers of local government to maintain quality of life rules in their jurisdiction. In the same way, it is protective of Measure D in Los Angeles, where the voters have set standards in Los Angeles. The bill contemplates a dual licensing system, and I think this is very important to the ongoing fiscal analysis of the bill. This bill is a part of a larger conversation, and I noted that a price tag assigned to my colleague, Mr. Bonta's bill, is a little bit different than the one ascribed to this. But I would just note, I would say conceptually, the key things to know about my bill are sort of 2. One is it contemplates a single state agency that will do the basic framework of regulation across all of state government. It will ally itself, it'll tap into the expertise of other agencies, but you're not going to have multiple agencies, each thinking through the problem from their standpoint, developing their own regulations. It is a single entity that'll think through the basic framework and then work in collaboration with state agencies to tap their expertise. And at the same time, enforcement is vested in tied at the local level. Specifically from my bill, and this bears upon its ultimate expense, the Bureau shall, in consultation with local government, develop an enforcement framework that clarifies the enforcement roles of the state and local governments, designating local governments with primary enforcement responsibility, maximizing the capabilities and resources of local enforcement agencies, and ensures that there is communication and collaboration between the Bureau, relevant state agencies, and local governments to enhance and streamline enforcement efforts. So this bill's, I would say, outstanding feature in the medical marijuana conversation is to have a single agency that is thinking through all the facets of medical marijuana regulation, collaborating then with subject matter expert state agencies to develop particular rules relevant to this business, and then the enforcement piece is actually at the local level. So to me, this is actually a lean structure. And I see some of the analysis that ascribes some expense to my bill by analogy to ABC, and I actually would say that's not a correct analogy. But anyway, so that it has this dual licensing system. The bill creates statewide guidelines for health and safety standards, preserving local control, as I stated. It'll get into cultivation standards, testing for pesticides, environmental mitigation. It actually contemplates the establishment of a fund to deal with environmental mitigation, which is extraordinarily important in the northwest portion of our state, as my colleague from Healdsburg has identified in a measure he's carrying. The analysis itself acknowledges that California is the only state that permits medical marijuana in the absence of a robust statewide regulatory system. A robust enforceable regulatory scheme is essential for California to bring the medical marijuana industry out from the underground economy and to ensure that patients can receive the product in a safe and legal medicinal way as intended. So with that, I have witnesses in support.
Thank you so much. Witnesses, please.
Mr. Chair and members, Tim Cromartie on behalf of the League of California Cities. We are co-sponsoring this bill in large part because of its local control focus. Local control, in order to be meaningful, must entail local enforcement, particularly on a hot-button issue such as marijuana. While the startup cost indicated in the analysis is significant, the long-term cost to the state as a result of this measure will be on the, or any marijuana regulation measure will be on the enforcement side. AB 266, with its local enforcement approach, will conservatively save the state several $1 million annually by placing locals in the forefront of any enforcement efforts. It will also have the benefit of signaling to the federal government that the state of California is serious about its enforcement protocol by having something that is highly functional and responsive. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Other witness in support?
Mr. Chair, John Lovell, on behalf of the co-sponsors of this measure, the California Police Chiefs Association, in addition to on behalf of a number of my other law enforcement clients, the Los Angeles Police Protective League, the Association for Los Angeles Deputy Sheriffs, the Riverside Sheriffs Association, the California Association of Code Enforcement Officers, and the California College and University Police Chiefs Association. Mr. Cooley's point about the importance of a single administrative authority on the state level is a terribly important one. You are dealing with a multi-billion-dollar industry, and in fact, unfortunately, it is an industry where there is a potential for incursion by people who are not committed to the medical side of marijuana. The importance of a cogent administrative structure cannot be overstated. We are strongly in support of this bill.
Thank you so much. Next witness.
Mr. Chairman, members, Paul Smith with the Rural Counties Association, also on behalf of the California State Association of Counties. We do not have an official support position on the bill, but we do encourage the committee to move this bill forward, as you'll also hear with Mr. Bonta's bill coming up a little bit later. We see a lot of value in the approach taken in this by creating a licensing scheme. We still remain with concerns in the county family in this conversation, and that's why, again, we encourage the bill to move forward. We've been very pleased with working with the sponsors. We're not completely there yet, and we will have to have some further conversations about local enforcement. That is a big issue for the counties. But nevertheless, we do encourage the bill to move forward and look forward to those discussions later in the process.
Any other witnesses in support?
Good morning. Don Duncan. I'm the California Director of Americans for Safe Access. Our position is support if amended, and we very much look forward to this bill moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Karen Leggett. I've been to the Capitol for weeks trying to stop the pot growers. We've had a murder in our Marysville area recently, and Citrus Heights, they had 5 people arrested just recently because they had pot all over the ground, stealing it from somebody. That person could have got killed, and our children are not safe. Please, thank you, Assemblyman Cooley, for your bill. And please, Assemblymen, please vote for them. And please, keep our children safe.
Thank you so much. Witnesses in opposition.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. Hezekiah Allen on behalf of the Emerald Growers Association. I'd like to thank the author and the authors for bringing this bill forward. Regulating medical cannabis should be a top priority to everyone in the state of California. It's high time 18 years later that we protect natural resources, protect patients, protect public safety, and protect the tens of thousands of small farms and businesses currently operating in this industry. We do commend the author for the efforts. That said, we respectfully oppose AB 266. AB 266 does not provide a realistic transition pathway for the many farms and businesses currently operating in the industry. The bill would perpetuate the problems caused by the lack of regulation, and it would collapse existing supply chains, threatening safe access and continuing to give criminals a competitive advantage in this marketplace. AB 266 is a costly boondoggle, and we respectfully oppose the measure. Thank you.
Any other witnesses in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? Mr. Cooley, this is a difficult issue. We're going to have to get all sides to work together to make progress. It's one of those issues that one approach favored by one group over another we'll probably not make it through the entire process. There's a lot of things we can do, but I would encourage you to work with some of the other folks that have bills. I wouldn't want to have to double join the bills so that you would be forced to work together. But I think that you will make more progress if we can kind of get some agreement with the other authors and work on one comprehensive package. Yeah. This is a fiscal committee, and that's what we're going to be considering. But I'll give you the opportunity to close.
Yeah, I actually feel that I think your points are well taken. I think this is an issue that actually it's all of us have an opportunity here to put something together this year. I think we are grateful for longer term limits, but the fact is those years will flash by, and it is vitally important for us in our work in this institution to have bills that we actually take up, fashion a remedy, a representative solution somewhere in the middle, and get it done each year. We do that. I, to my core, believe we will be seen as an era in the institution if we start knocking major issues out each year and not have this recurrent sort of Groundhog Day bill that you spend 2 years on and then you're back and at the starting point. On this issue, I would say the thing I would invite all my colleagues to think about, this bill is gaining momentum in general, this issue, because of the work of Mr. Bonta, Joan Sawyer, Mr. Wood, Mr. McGuire. I would say that the issue of how we administer this at the state level is the all-important question to think about, because a problem, if we are in multiple agencies, you can get gaps between the agencies. Each single agency will believe to their core they've thought their piece right through correctly and implemented it correctly. But then that will mean the people out in the marketplace dealing with these different agencies will encounter different yardsticks, different rules, different lingo. I sort of think that will lead to conflicts, arguments with regulatory agencies. It'll be very difficult for us in this body to gain oversight if it's broken up that way. So I think some solution that tasks the principal thinking through the regulatory process to one entity, even if you're tapping in the expertise of other agencies, is a better approach, not just for the issue, but for our institution, so that we will have more oversight and control and direction. But I believe this issue is moving forward on the great work of at least 5 members who are authoring bills this session. And I believe we will get something done this year through a collaboration. So I take your words to heart. I just want to say as that process unfolds, it's important for us as members to ask ourselves, do we have the right solution for the state and for the legislature as a co-equal branch of government setting rules for more accountable government? And I think that's a key issue for all members to focus on. So I just thank you for the opportunity. I do know it's going to suspense. Thank you for the opportunity to present today.
Thank you, Mr. Cooley, and you're correct. 12 years, we think it's a long time, but it's actually flies by when it comes to legislative issues, especially of this magnitude. So thank you so much for your leadership on this, and I look forward to seeing you work with your other colleagues on this important issue. Thanks.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Williams, thank you for your patience. You have 2 bills on suspense and 2 do pass recommendations, AB 514 and AB 682. What's your pleasure?
I will just present on those 2 real quickly. AB 514 will provide counties with more local control for violations for the county's land use and development code by increasing the maximum fine for local ordinance violations.
Move the bill. Second.
Just so that you know, the maximum fine right now is only $100 for the first violation. And what happens is that people who have tremendous means simply do not get the permit and then take the $100 fine as a cost of business, and that, of course, does not help when taxpayers bear the cost of everything associated with these large events. Ask for your aye vote.
Thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. Witnesses in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Monica Miller on behalf of the County of Santa Barbara. We are the sponsor of the bill and available for any technical questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other witnesses in support?
Sylvia Solis Shaw on behalf of the Board of Supervisors of Shasta County in support.
Thank you so much. Witnesses in opposition, individuals from the public in opposition, questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, would you like to close, Mr. Williams?
No, just respectfully ask you for your aye vote.
Thank you so much. This has a motion and a second. This bill is out on a B roll call. Second bill, Mr. Williams.
Mr. Chair, members, AB 682 provides a narrow exemption to the title requirements for a mobile home only for the purposes of a utility upgrade pilot project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please continue, Mr. Williams.
It just requires DHC to inspect any alterations to ensure health and safety standards are met, and most importantly, HCD's costs are expected to be fully offset by the technical service fee authorized in the bill.
Thank you so much. Any witnesses in support?
Catherine Borg from the Western Manufactured Housing Communities, as sponsor, here to answer any technical questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other witnesses in support? Individuals from the public in support? Witnesses in opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? I'd like to add that this is the best bill we've seen all year.
Well, it is at least rare to see a bill that will have the support of both mobile home owners and mobile home park owners, and especially for the purposes of improving infrastructure.
Thank you so much. Mr. Wagner.
I was going to say that myself, and then I thought, well, I'll just let this one slide by. Great bill, and happy to support it, Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a bipartisan love up here with the motion and a second. This bill is out on an A roll call.
Thank you, members.
Even a blind squirrel.
Ms. Chang. Ms. Chang, you have AB 19 on suspense and AB 388 with the due pass recommendation. What's your pleasure?
I'd like to present both. That's okay.
That's okay, Ms. Chang.
I will start with AB 19.
Thank you. Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members, for the opportunity to present on AB 19. AB 19 is an important measure that will serve as a catalyst for change in the numerous regulations which negatively impact California's greatest economic contributor, which is small businesses. AB 19 directs the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development to establish a process through which they shall review regulations impacting small businesses and propose alternative implementation methods that are less administratively burdensome or costly to the agency with jurisdiction over the regulation. As part of the process, small business owners and other stakeholders will be provided with the ability to propose regulations for review, provide input on costs and challenges associated with implementing the regulations, and suggest alternative implementation methods. After 4 years, this measure will sunset, at which time GoBiz will submit a comprehensive report to the legislature and the governor on their findings, propose alternative implementation methods, and a description of the actions taken by the responsible agency. While the costs associated with this bill are just high enough to have it flagged as a candidate for suspense, the potential reward for enacting this review of burdensome regulations is priceless. AB 19 will help small businesses clear the red tape from the day-to-day operations and allow them to focus on their business and keeping California prosperous. This bill has earned a significant number of supporters, including the California Small Business Association, the NFIB, Cal Chamber, and the California Manufacturers and Technology Association. And with that, I hope that we will be able to move this bill off of suspense at next week's hearing.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chang. Witnesses in support? Individuals from the public in support?
On behalf of the California Chamber of Commerce and support, we see this as an important measure to help facilitate a growing economy by helping small businesses. Thank you.
Yolanda Benson with the California Asian Pacific Chamber of Commerce, representing over 600,000 API businesses in California in support.
Thank you so much. Any other witnesses in support? Those motions are out of order.
Thank you.
Witnesses in opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Ms. Chang, would you like to close on your suspense item?
I would just ask for your consideration next week.
Thank you, Ms. Chang. please present your next bill, AB 388, do pass recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. I am pleased to present to you AB 388. Thank you very much. And with that, I will just ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Just real quick, what does your bill do?
It's
the second best bill of the day.
It's the second. No, it's the first best bill. It has to do with veterans housing.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a motion and a second. Any witnesses in support? Individuals from the public in support? Witnesses in opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, this bill is out on a nay roll call. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. DeBobne, you have 2 bills on suspense, 2 on consent, and 1 enjoys a due pass recommendation, AB 160. What's your pleasure?
I'd like to waive presentation for AB 1319 and AB 782, and I'd like to present on AB 160, Enhanced Organized Crime Enforcement Bill.
Please continue.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, AB 160 will stop counterfeiters from profiting from their crimes, hold them financially liable, and capture tax revenues lost as a direct result of their criminal activities. California is home to many key industries which are prime targets for organized counterfeiting and piracy, including the movie and music industries. For example, the film and television industry, which provides over 190,000 direct jobs and over $17 billion in wages for Californians, loses an estimated $3.27 billion a year as a result of piracy in California. AB 160 will update the California Revenue and Tax Code to bring it in line with federal laws in regards to the taxes collected on counterfeit goods. Additionally, this bill expands the list of offenses that can trigger forfeiture of ill-gotten gains derived from specific criminal activities to include piracy and insurance fraud. AB 160 strengthens the law to better equip the state to combat California's growing underground economy and give the state the revenue it deserves for other vital services, which according to the committee's analysis is an estimated $1.1 million a year. To speak in support of this bill, I have today with me David Hunter, who is running a little bit late from the Board of Equalization, so I'll answer any questions on my own today.
Thank you so much, Mr. DeBobne. You have a motion and a second on your bill. Witnesses in support, individuals from the public in support.
John Lovell, LA Police Protective League, Association for LA Deputy Sheriffs, Riverside Sheriffs Association, California College and University Police Chiefs, California Narcotic Officers, all in support.
Thank you so much. Witnesses in opposition, individuals from the public in opposition. Question or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Mr. DeBobne, would you like to close?
I think the case was made very articulately by my one witness in support. You can see how much law enforcement values having these tools to make sure that we're keeping not only those that commit criminal acts accountable for their acts, but also we're making sure that there's no ill-gotten gains that go under the radar when that money should be going to provide more revenue for our state's vital services. So with that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you so much, Mr. DeBobne. This bill is out on a nay roll call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ms. Irwin. You're up. You have 1 bill on suspense, AB 670.
Is it on? Yes, okay. AB 670 would require state agencies to receive a network security assessment at least once every 2 years and would authorize the Department of Technology to require agencies that are not in compliance to redirect available funding for that purpose. The bill would also give OES the authority to direct the Military Department's Computer Network Defense Team, which performs these assessments. These assessments are recognized as best practices in preventing cyber attacks like those that have occurred in South Carolina's Department of Revenue and Oregon's Department of Public Health, costing hundreds of millions of dollars. Given the size of California government, a breach can be similarly costly, and this bill represents an investment in security that is well worth the cost. For example, of the assessments performed by our military department in the past 2 years, an average of 13 vulnerabilities were identified on each state system, and through the process there was a collective tenfold reduction in risk. Mr. Chair and members, a couple of things I would like to point out that weren't included in the analysis. Because the provisions of this bill are included in the state administrative manual, state agencies are already funded to comply with these requirements. This simply ensures that important security practices are prioritized. The state of California was awarded the first of 10 cyber protection teams trained and funded by the federal government through the Department of Defense. This will begin in January 2017. This 39-member team of experts will be under state control and will significantly reduce the cost to the state. Cybersecurity is a serious challenge that the state needs to address. California is a priority target because of its size, and this bill will ensure that state government is taking the preventative steps necessary to reduce this risk.
Thank you, Ms. Irwin. Any witnesses in support? Any individuals from the public in support? Witnesses in opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, Ms. Irwin, would you like to close?
As this moves to suspense, I hope you consider the cost reductions that I've just outlined.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
your
Mr.
bill's on
Gomez.
suspense, but we'll give it due consideration when we take up the suspense file.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Gallagher. Mr. Gallagher, you have one bill on consent, AB 285, and then you have AB 517 that enjoys a due pass recommendation. What's your pleasure?
Just presenting on AB 517.
Please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. It's my pleasure to present AB 517. Current law requires schools to possess the materials that will be distributed to students during sexual health or HIV/AIDS prevention education and allows parents to inspect these materials. This bill clarifies that parents or guardians shall have ample time to review the materials and allows them to make copies of the written materials if they are not copyright protected. It also provides that the notice that is already being sent to parents informing them that instruction will occur also contains information outlining the training of the outside consultant instructors in the areas of sexual health or HIV/AIDS prevention. This bill has no opposition and has made it out of policy committee with unanimous bipartisan support. And I ask for your aye vote.
Again, any witnesses in support? Individuals from the public in support? Witnesses in opposition? Individuals from the public in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? Come on, guys. You don't want to ask them a question? No. Seeing no questions or comments, would you like to close, Mr. Gallagher?
Ask for your aye vote.
Mr. Gallagher, this bill has a motion and a second. It's out on an A roll call.
Thank you.
Thank you.